Hey guys, welcome back. Today is a big one because not only is it day 4 of Geek Week, it is also Revenge of the Fifth and Feliz Cinco de Mayo. So we got a lot to cover. But for today, there's not really any specific day. Like I said, it's Revenge of the Fifth, but also like we already did Star Wars yesterday. So instead of doing more about Star Wars, I figured I'm going to take today and do more movie suggestions. And I figured what better category to do than nerdy movies, movies for within fandoms or whatever. Mostly ones that aren't in fandoms. I wanted to do ones that are more just like a nerdy geek kind of, you can be excited over it, but it's not part of any specific fandom. One or two might be, but we are going to start with what I think is probably a pretty good one for this. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. When I first heard about this movie, I thought it looked like the dumbest thing I had ever seen. And somebody said that Michael Cera looks like he accidentally walked into an audition and people were like, "Yeah, I want you to play this," and he was just like, "Oh, okay." Like he was too shy he felt bad saying no. And it's so true. But man, this movie is if you haven't seen it, I just saw it for the first time end of last year, and it's nuts. Definitely, if you don't understand what's going on, you have to have the context that it is supposed to look like a video game, and it's supposed to seem like an anime. Oh, well, actually, it's supposed to look exactly like an anime. Basically, it's about Scott Pilgrim, Michael Cera, who likes Mary Elizabeth Winstead and has to fight her 7 ex-boyfriends to win her. One of which is Chris Evans, and one of which is Katara from Avatar. So, I mean, that should tell you all you need to know. But there's also Kieran Culkin in this movie, and Aubrey Plaza, and Anna Kendrick. I mean, there's a bunch of people in this movie. I mean, it's a really interesting one, guys. I mean, it's directed very interesting. It's directed by Edgar Wright, who did Baby Driver, Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, all those. And I mean, I don't know if this was his first one, but it's definitely one of the ones that stands out the most, I think. So definitely check this one out. Very fun. It's just a fun time. I mean, if you're a nerd, you're gonna love it for game reasons, anime reasons, Michael Cera reasons. Check out Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. I can guarantee you it's a fun time. It looks stupid, but it's fun. I'm not gonna say it's not stupid, but like it's supposed to sort of be, So yeah, check this one out. Also, sorry for the excuse the everything about me right now. My allergies are really ramping up for the season, so if I look and sound like I'm dying, it's because I am. So the next one we're gonna go into is Ready Player One. Now this is more for the nerds who like the '80s stuff. And I mean, if you like '80s stuff, this is it. I mean, it has everything. Basically, Ready Player One is about a kid who lives in a dystopian future where they play this game called the Oasis, or they're playing a game where the setting is the Oasis, and you get money from winning it. And the guy who created the game is putting an Easter egg, literally an Easter egg, into the game. And if you find it, you get control of the game and $1 million. And it's just filled. I mean, you can see the Iron Giant. It is just filled with '80s references, and I'm not going to spoil what they are, but it's very interesting. I don't want to. I mean, a drawback for a lot of people is that it's very overstimulating, and that it has a lot of CGI, which it does because they take place in a video game, which last I checked is not live action, but it could still be a lot at once. Very, very fun movie though. Definitely worth a check. I mean, it's definitely another one that you could just sit down and it's a very fun experience. It's gonna get you really hyped. Also, just a really cool original idea. I mean, there's a lot of scenes in here that if you're a movie fan, it's very fun. A lot of Easter eggs, literally and metaphorically, and a lot of interesting scenes. Especially one where you literally dive into another movie, and it's really cool. The next one, we're going to go back to kind of an oldie classic, The Goonies. The Goonies, if you haven't seen it, is about five people, for five kids, people. I mean, yeah, they are people. Five kids who, I mean, it's just a treasure hunt. Honestly, it's just a treasure hunt, and they're trying to get all this treasure so they don't have to move. And Josh Brolin's in it, and Sean Astin's in it. So you got Samwise Gamgee, you got Short Round from Indiana Jones, and you got Thanos / Cable, depending on which Marvel you like. Steven Spielberg also produced it, and again, just a treasure hunt. I mean, and Sean Astin, kid's got asthma. I can relate. I'm just saying. But yeah, check out The Goonies. Very fun. You know, it's a little cheesy. It's an 80s movie. It's got some interesting characters, but overall, it's just like, you know, a very, if you like things like Hook, you know, definitely worth a check out. I'm going to just, 1 second, I'm just going to stop dying for just half a minute here. Please pray for editing to come back. Dear God. All right, next one we're going to do is a very recent one, Into the Spider-Verse. I figured this is okay because even though it's sort of Marvel, it's kind of detached right now. Also, to celebrate the stupid name that Marvel came up with for the Spider-Man universe called the Spider-Man Universe of Marvel Characters. You couldn't have just called it that. So, barring that, this is another one that when I saw it in the previews, I was like, okay, this looks okay, but I don't really think I'm going to be into it that much. You know, I love Spider-Man, don't get me wrong, so I'm going to see it either way. But I love a Spider-Man that I already know. I'm not looking for Spider-Man variations that are, you know, one's a robot and one's Nick Cage as a kind of a noir Spider-Man. I was like, one's John Mulaney, so I was like, okay, you got me there. But I was like, okay, this looks okay, you know. It's really cool that we're diving into the Miles Morales finally. But overall, I was like, this looks whatever. I don't think I'm going to care that much about it. This is one of the best Spider-Man movies I've ever seen, if not the best. I don't know if I don't know if I could say my favorite because I'm partial to some of the other ones, but definitely one of the best, if not the best, Spider-Man movie I've ever seen. And that is because the pacing is so well done. The animation's slightly revolutionary. It looks like a comic book. I mean, it deals with so many good themes. And it's just really good movie. I mean, for as many times as they like go back and forth into flashbacks and into other worlds and other verses and everything, all the characters are super funny. Very interesting concept and a lot of really interesting cameos too. But the overall, I mean, it was just a solid movie. I can't say anything on that. I mean, it's just a solid and winner of the best animated feature for the Academy Awards, which I think was like the first time in a long time that it did not go to a Pixar movie. So that's how you know this was really good. It beat out Pixar. Of course, I don't think they had a whole lot going up for it. I think it was, Incredibles 2, something like that. Maybe Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet, if that was 2018. But yeah, definitely if you're a Spider-Man fan or a comic book fan, that if you're either, you've already seen it, but watch it again. All right, God, don't yell at me. And for my last one, it's not a movie, but if you haven't seen it, if you're looking at these if you take any of my suggestions seriously, any of them, I am begging you, if you have not seen it, this is actually homework. I'm giving you homework, okay? You need to watch it, man. I will say I got into it only a couple years ago. I was very behind. Funny enough, this series and The Office are the only two series where I didn't think I'd ever watch them, and so they were just on, and I started watching one of the episodes. So the very first episode I watched of each of those series was the series finale. I know. But I forgot most of it, which was good, because holy shit, this is a good series. For being a kid's cartoon, if you're an adult watching this and you go, "That's a cartoon," I'm not watching that. I'm not watching those SpongeBob. Don't even. I love SpongeBob. Okay, I'm not even gonna. I'm not even gonna compare SpongeBob to this. This is really, really good. Again, it's still a cartoon. I'll get into it in a whole other video later. But it's got some really good themes. It's super relaxing if you're just trying to like go to sleep. But also there are some episodes where I'm literally just like, that's actually really exciting. The second series, okay? People call this, like, compare it to like the Empire Strikes Back of the series. You don't get that often where something's like, oh, that's the Empire Strikes Back of this. I mean, it's so good. So many good characters. I could get into it and talk about this all day, but I need you to do your homework, okay? We'll talk about this later, but first you got to watch it. Can you watch it for me, please? Because then we can talk about it. Fuck. This is good. All right, I'm done. I'll talk about this later. But Avatar: The Last Airbender, not the blue people, and not the Shyamalan one. Please do yourself a favor and do this one. It's coming on Netflix soon. I don't know how soon. If you can get your hands on it before then, watch it. If not, I won't do it for a little bit. The reviews on it. That won't be the first TV one I do. But if you can watch it soon, we can talk about it. And yeah, it should be coming on Netflix. That's a pretty big thing that people are excited about. Yeah, so that's it for those suggestions for, my nerdy ones. But also because it is Cinco de Mayo, I wanted to throw one out there. To be honest, I haven't seen as many international movies as I should have by now. It's slightly embarrassing. That was my goal this year, is to get more international movies and more horror movies. Why, you say? Well, I started off the year watching Parasite, so. But I want to watch even more international. I saw The Platform, reviewed that, but one I would suggest, it's probably the only one besides The Platform I've seen that's in Spanish, because everything else I've seen is either Japanese or like French, internationally. But I would suggest, if you want to get into the spirit of Cinco de Mayo, or just be cultured about things, watch Roma. Personally, I need to watch it again because there's a lot. It's very I don't want to say intense. It's kind of slow actually, but there's a lot that I didn't completely understand, and that's probably the point. Is that you see Spain in Hollywood movies, and you're like, Barcelona and fountains and tacos. No, that's Mexico. See, it's like it's all meshed together in your head. Mexico and Spain, like you just think, oh, Spanish. They have a different language and they eat tacos. No, but this movie, I think one of my friends was saying, I was like, why do you think it should win Best Picture when it was nominated? And he said it's, even if the story isn't always there. Well, I mean, it's a loose story. It's just following this woman's life. She's a maid, and so there's not really like a hard plot. It's just following her life. And he said, even if there's not really like a hard story like that, it's just a look into a culture we don't get to see all that often, that accurately, because it's directed by Alfonso Cuarón. So it's going to be pretty accurate. He was telling, I think, his mom's story, his mother or his grandmother. He was telling her story for them, and so it was a very accurate representation of Spain. And so I want to encourage that you guys watch that. I want to watch it again because I really want to, understand more of it. I'll probably do some behind the scenes things on it, because we should know more about some of these other countries from the people who were, originate there or come from there. Hear it from them, from their point of view, and we should know more about it than just the stereotypes. So I encourage you to watch that. It's on Netflix. It was a Netflix, well, not original, but it was, it came out on Netflix. And yeah, so I would say that for Cinco de Mayo and all these for your nerdiness for the day. And yeah, just leave comments in the section below about if you've seen any of these movies, if you've seen Roma, anything that I talked about here, if you have a comment about it, I want to hear it. And yeah, don't die if you have allergies. Also, in terms of Cinco de Mayo, I know I just said not to be, like stereotypical, but I do want to encourage you, if you're a Friends fan, go ahead and watch the Ross's Fine episode where they make fajitas and margaritas, because that's what my family's doing tonight. Oh, man. All right. Well, as always, I'll see you guys, and keep your hopes high, your stress low, and Spanish culturally accurate presentations and everything nerdiness and geekiness right in the middle. I'll see you guys.